this idea of body autonomy is something that's becoming more scarce, I think, for certain folks in America at the moment. And I wonder if, eating disorders among, people of a fertile age are gonna increase because it's often a way that people reassert. I mean, it's a disordered way by nature and a dysregulated way, but it is often at its root a way to reassert body autonomy. And I think that, the lack of ability to access contraception and also, gender affirming care for a lot of people in America at the moment, it's going to have tons of unintended consequences, and a lot of them might be, increases of instances of disordered eating among people trying to reassert body autonomy.
For me, it wasn't ever anorexia, it was compulsive overeating, which, I hate that title. But that's almost like a complete neutering of your sexuality, of your being. That's another way of completely obliterating. It's changed now, but there was a time, like, what did you see the movie Wicked?
Yeah.
I was impressed that there were large size dancers there, where traditionally you would not see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, I'm curious about your experience with compulsive overeating, because I do think a lot of disordered behavior has a political component, whether it's conscious or not. And often it is unconscious, but we live in a really disordered society. And so it makes so much sense that, whether it's genetics kind of lay the track, but the social and the cultural pull the trigger on a lot of these things. And some people really take things out, turn the knife onto themselves, with regards to food, exercise, and just their own relationship with their bodies. Um, and I think all of that and kind of the psychological, psychosexual of it all is really, really interesting, and for lack of a better term, fertile ground for a lot of conversations.
Do you find that when people find out that sex worker is part of your, how has been part of how you identify, is there a gendered response, and has it had a negative or positive impact on how people view you as an artist or an intellectual?
Hmm, that's interesting. Um, I feel that I kind of did a thing where I get out in front of it, so there's not really a whole lot of people find out retroactively, because it's not it's pretty available information. That's just how I've chosen to play it, and that's also a luxury because I have really accepting parents, and it's kind of a don't ask, don't tell situation in many ways. And I've had certain institutional funding be squelched when that because of that, specific part of my what I got going on. And in situations like those, I always think that I didn't want that money anyway, or I didn't want to deal with those people anyway. Um, and so in a lot of ways, being relatively transparent about the situation has really filtered my interactions to be only with people who are you know, on the same frequency as me, I suppose.
I'm always fascinated by the idea of, like, well, I would think that there are people who might be shocked, like, wait, she's beautiful and young, and she does this taboo whatever sometimes. Oh, wait, she has a degree and her work is actually good, and, like, wait, that's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think, well, I agree with what you're saying. I think sex work is often about, inhabiting different identities in order to kind of mirror the pleasure of the other. And that's really fun. And that's about play and that's about drag a lot of the time, class drag or lots of different forms of putting on different identities. And I think that often, can be really compatible with the disposition of the writer or the artist, which is sometimes the person who is able to shapeshift to document, to be in these lots of different spaces and to be the scribe of a scene or to be the person who reports back from the front lines of some kind of cultural outpost. And so these things I think are really compatible in a lot of ways. And I agree. And, maybe the shadow side of that is sometimes alienation or dissociation or feeling othered or separate from one circumstance. But the real superpower is the ability to um show up for people as very authentically, but also very performatively.
What do you think about in terms of like getting older, and do you have any anxiety about how your body will change or how you'll change and how that will affect how you're held?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I have in the past had a lot of age anxiety. And part of, the disordered behavior is also about crystallizing everything in a state of permanence. It's nothing can change. It's about I do this every single day for this amount of time and have this intake and it's the anxiety of change and the sequencing of time. And recently I've really let a lot of that go. I think, I'm really happy in my life. I'm really happy in my relationship and just trying to radically accept because there's no point writhing against the realities. So yeah, I mean, I feel that there's some practical changes that will befall me and all of us, and just trying to be playful with that too, and just lean with it and rock with it. I think in the past I felt lots of different ways about it, but as I'm releasing, my ties to, the way I show up, whether that's related to gender and sexuality or any other type of way, just kind of releasing a lot of the narratives that I have about myself.
Everybody, Lily, she is extremely rad. I really am just so thrilled with your work and the film. And I really hope you go more into film because you are able to, you, your weaving of the visual and words, and you have a good command of acting, and choosing your actors.
Thank you so much, Laura. So much love. I'll see you soon in San Francisco or LA, one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be there. You'll be up here. Have a really good time in Rico.
Hell yeah.
Have fun
So
in
much
Mexico.
love.
Bye. See ya.